In politics, a faction of the People's Democratic Party has constituted the National Caretaker Committee as the tenure of the National Working Committee ends tomorrow. This decision was taken at the 104th NEC meeting of the party held in Abuja yesterday. The Caretaker Committee is expected to run affairs of the party pending the conduct of a national convention. The 13-member Caretaker Committee is to be chaired by Abdurrahman Mohammed and Samuel Anyanwu as secretary. The Caretaker Committee has been mandated to run the affairs of the party for a period of 60 days, during which all pending congresses should be conducted and the national convention should be held. PDP chairman in Abia State, Abraham Ama, joins me on the news at 7 for more on this. Mr. Ama, where do you stand on this issue and what does this arrangement mean for the PDP?
Well, it's a clear roadmap that informs members of the party and the Nigerian public of what we expect to happen in the next 60 days. It is expected that in the next 60 days, precisely by 6, 7, or 8 of February 2026, that all outstanding congresses in various states across the country, and of course, zonal congresses and national convention will have been concluded. This is in line with the judgments of the Federal High Court that sat in Abuja, where all parties were represented. All parties, when I said all parties, INEC was represented, and then the National Working Committee, as it was at that time, was also represented. And then we were 3 applicants on that matter. I was one of the applicants, and the chairman of Bayelsa State, George Turner, was also one of the applicants or plaintiffs. And then Austin Wachuku, chairman of IMO. We had approached the courts at that time to make one important request, that it is an aberration for a political party to convene a national convention at a time where there are congresses across states which has not been conducted.
But Mr. Ama,
the national convention.
Yeah, I was going to ask you whether,
Yes.
I mean, don't you think that this action or this faction of the PDP would rather, I mean, further destabilize the party and put it in oblivion?
Well, you call it faction. I will allow you to address it the way you want. But for us, this is the mainstream of the party. And what we are doing is to align ourselves with the laws of the land, beginning from the Supreme Law, which is the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, and then the Electoral Act, and then the Constitution of the party, and INEC guidelines. The business of political parties in Nigeria are regulated by INEC through these instruments of law: the Constitution, the Act, and the Constitution of the party. A party must be seen to align itself with the Constitution. And when some of our members went ahead to take an action which was against the decision of the court, we felt bad because it portrayed us as a party that does not have respect for the rule of law. And if a political party does not have a respect for the rule of law, how can they manage the business of a country? We felt bad, and that was why we took the action of suspending them, because they misrepresented the party as far as the public is concerned.
Mr. Ama,
So
they
what
also,
we are
in
doing
turn,
now,
Mr. Ama, if I may quickly come in, please, they in turn also suspended the members of your faction of the PDP. And at this point, I am actually curious what you think is the way out of this situation, considering the 2027 elections are just months away.
Well, as it stands today, we have, you see, these people went to hold a kangaroo national convention, even at a time when they have proceeded to the appellate court of appeal, to appeal the judgments delivered by Justice Omotosho. That is rather unfortunate. You cannot approach an appellate court to appeal a matter and yet go ahead to act even before the appellate court makes a decision on that matter. That is exactly what's happened. because they had approached. So as of today, we are operating within the frames, within the law, and it is expected that, of course, since the matter is before the Court of Appeal, we are expecting those judgments. And by God's grace, as I said, we will continue to respect the law. We will not act against the interests of the law. We will not act against the constitution of our party. We will not act against the INEC guideline. We will not act, because you cannot go ahead with a national convention at a time when you did not even provide INEC with names of aspirants or candidates.
I hear you, Mr.
Aspirants for.
I hear you, about what you're saying, but I'm actually also and very much concerned about what you think is the way out. That is the question I asked earlier. Would it be the legal way because now you are obviously in court, or do you think there could be some diplomatic, some political resolution of this as a family matter, as you and your colleagues usually refer to it?
Well, it takes two to tango. After the judgment of Justice Omotosho, which was delivered, I think, on the 31st day of, which was delivered last month. What we had expected the national chairman, as it was at that time, to do was to quickly call a meeting of critical stakeholders of the party. Before that time, the board of trustees had constituted a 6-man committee made up of eminent personalities drawn from the 6th geopolitical zone to formulate and determine, to do a kind of reconciliation. And these wise men came together and put up some wonderful 10 recommendations. But because these people don't want the right thing to be done, they're justicing the recommendation of the Reconciliatory Commission set up by the then Damagu-led NWC. So it takes two to tango. We are always open for, Yesterday, while our national leader was speaking, and even the national chairman of the party and the BOT chairman, and also the national secretary, they made it very, very clear that our doors, we are open for conversation, we are open for discussions, we are open for any meeting that will provide. But in the absence of any of this, of course, the courts will determine, because we had the same scenario when the issue of the national chairman, when some people wanted to take action against a substantive national secretary of the party and bring in a total stranger to replace him. We tried to engage them. We tried to have a discussion, but they refused. But by the end of the day, the Supreme Court decided on the matter, and we were able to find ourselves outside that web.
Let's see what will be emerging from the Kabiru Turaki faction of your party in the hours and days to come. PDP chairman in Abia State, Abraham Ama, has been my guest. Thank you so much for your time on TVC News at 7.